My business partner Malcolm, while we were there, I said, "Yo, look at his legs." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." I said, "They're thick. They're in shape. They look very strong."
Shawn Porter says one thing after leaving Terence Crawford's training camp, where he trains like a pound-for-pound star. Terence has never looked better.
And again, that speaks to the magnitude of this fight. They are matching and mirroring one another in a lot of ways. For me,
getting great sparring, training in the mountains. Yeah, you're right.
For me, the biggest thing.
Crawford is not fluff training, according to Porter abs. He is training to win, and he is doing it with a level of intelligence, accuracy, and composure that is distinct. His physical attributes, his manner of carrying himself, and the intensity of his training all point to a fighter honing every weapon for the grandest stage.
Which is something that Crawford said was, who else is there? There's nobody else at my level. And they're mirroring in that respect. Everybody wanted to see Canelo in the ring with
El Monstro.
with Benavidez, but respectfully, Benavidez does not have that
all-time standing.
Yeah, whereas Crawford does, and that's why we get this fight. Also, why I think we get a brilliant match.
Due in large part to what Terence Crawford was putting into his body, his training camp immediately became a topic of conversation. Under the direction of Brian McIntyre, Esau Digg, and Jamie Belt, his coaching staff, Crawford threw himself into a comprehensive program that placed an emphasis on strength, stamina, technique, and strategy. In addition to recovery-based training like interval training and swimming, alternating sparring sessions with high-altitude training in Colorado also maintained him in shape. In terms of dissecting an opponent, Terence Crawford has never been one to back down. Additionally, prior to his epic battle with the American Canelo Alvarez, has focused on the left hook that is associated with the Mexican sensation.
There you go. No, I'm saying boom. So then when you extend it, boom. This is protecting you. This is right here. You know what I mean? Because look, if I throw a hook, no, I'm saying, if I'm here, boom, you throw a hook. I'm just gonna turn. Bring it to my.
Combined with a nutritionally sound and dietetically proper eating plan, it was designed to let his noticeably larger frame to retain the speed and flea-footedness that are hallmarks of his style. Fans were worried about how he would handle the size disparity with Canelo when he was shown to have chopped up but was by no means a scrawny fighter. In the pre-fight interview, John Ryder, a British-born war veteran and another fighter who has faced Canelo Alvarez, lauded Terence Crawford, describing him as a unique talent with a high IQ in the ring who can outsmart almost anyone. Ryder remarked that he is drawn to fighters like Crawford, individuals who put their all into battle and possess the mental faculties to quickly end a heated argument. He did not, however, hesitate about it without any reservations. Fighting a heavyweight like Canelo at 168 pounds is one thing. Additionally, Ryder issued a warning before to the bout. He underlined that preparation, mental toughness, and strategy will be just as important as the actual fight night.
Going into that weight, he could have done with a couple more there, then moved up to 160, but it's all being done as a bit of a rush, so he's not going to be fully. He's got a bit of time to put the muscle on to build into the weight, and he's obviously going to do it with the intention of getting back down to 154 and taking on other challenges. So it's not a long-term goal for him to stay there. But like I say, Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. Watching him beat a good friend of mine, Ricky Burns, and it's like since that day I was just my ears pricked up and I took notice. And every time Terence Crawford boxed.
Ryder then went on to advise Crawford on his next steps in order to beat the Mexican champion. He maintained that people should stick to the fundamentals since they shouldn't employ novel tactics in combat. He said that the secret to defeating Canelo might be discipline, time, long-tested strategies, and respecting one's commitment to one's abilities.
It'll be a points win.
Yeah.
It'll be a points. I think Canelo will win, but not by the biggest of margins. But then if Crawford come and turn the event on his head and won on points, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Canelo Alvarez's training camp has been relocated to the picturesque Del Mar beaches in California, where he has incorporated some natural elements into his rigorous training regimen. In addition to doing some pretty traditional drills that worked cardiovascular fitness and kept him mobile in the ring, trainer Eddie Reynoso had him run up and down the beach and shadow box on gravel.
You just go watch the Bivol blueprint, the in and out. A lot of fighters getting stick now for being runners, Tom and Jerry and whatnot. That's really good at. Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. He's won titles through the weights, undisputed at 3 weights now. And listen, if anyone can do it, it's him. I think the weight will be too much of an issue. Canelo is a special talent, and I think the weight will play a factor in the fight. But
just an outdoor supplement to his rigorous strength training, MIT job, and altitude training. Canelo is able to develop a body that will demonstrate foot speed, power, and high-level stamina to handle the enormous bout ahead by combining his natural surroundings with concentrated effort on his vertical physique. Canelo, the current champion, who holds all 4 major titles, defends his title from a man who aspires to become the first male boxer to go undefeated in 3 weight divisions. He won the WBA Junior Middleweight T in August of the previous year, which was his last fight. He is scaling up 2 entire divisions this time because he believes in his training and his aspirations for greatness. Amir Khan claims that the old perception of Crawford as only a cunning technical operator no longer accurately captures the reality. Canelo is a man whose success has been built on his ability to stop fights with devastating power shots. That the difference could be meaningfully closed with additional weapons. A quick goal from Crawford might turn the tide of the game. He is expressing himself via his distinct encounter with the 2 males. Khan presented it as a meeting of diametrically opposed routes. Canelo has served in multiple divisions and has battled in more battles, bearing the scars of the greatest. Crawford, on the other hand, arrives more powerful, less worn down by the miles, and he can yet adjust to greater load without dulling his chisel thanks to his razor-like accuracy.
It's a hard fight to call, honestly, because it just depends what type of fighters show up on the night. I fought both guys. When I fought them at the peak of their career. Is the same Canelo gonna fight Crawford? Is that gonna be the same Canelo I fought? And with Crawford, we know he turns it up anyway. I think that looking at both fighters, I think Canelo has had more harder fights going up and down the weight divisions. I think he's been in more wars than Crawford. I think Crawford is a fresher fighter who's been in less wars but had as many hard fights, but in my opinion, not as hard as Canelo. So I just feel that Crawford has this fight in the bag, because I've sparred with him even after we fought each other, and when he puts on that weight, it's like he holds that weight so well, that muscle well, and it's not like he's...
Chris Aljieri was the one who stepped up to the scale with his assessment, adding another hue to the discussion around Canelo's current shape. In a recent appearance, he made reference to the Mexican superstar's inability to perform well. There was a hint of surprise in his voice, even incredulity that a fighter like Canelo could enter the ring when not at his best.
It's like when he walks around and he's weighing around like 170, 175, he's looking like a natural 175 guy. It's not like he's purposely looking heavy or, he's looking soft. He looks built and strong.
Later, Aljieri had the common sense to cut down on the noise from the altercation. He reminded fans that a champion is not created in a single game. Additionally, in this instance, both players will have years of top-level playing experience. He believes that when their disparate fighting styles and strategies are tested on a fight night, the real answers will be revealed. It only takes a millisecond to damage a boxer's reputation. The realm of hypothetical scenarios will vanish the moment the starting bell rings because the ropes will reveal the truth.
Canelo, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him. And Marcus, you've been to a ton of Canelo fights. You know how that arena is. It is insane.
Camp. It was the shift that requires years of effort, adjustment, and perseverance in the face of has a history of winning titles in a number of other classes and is naturally the heaviest of the men when they enter the ring. He is known for his systematic pressure, crushing capacity in the pocket, brutally effective bodywork, and impeccable timing. He is battle-hardened and has faced and defeated the top competitors in the heavyweight, light heavyweight, and super welterweight divisions thus far. He is a little shorter than Crawford, but his experience and stocky build make him incredibly resilient. Roy Jones Jr.'s statements carried additional weight because he is more than just a life observer. He applied his own experiences on the battlefield, recalling the lessons he had learnt in that brutal place and the leap into the heavyweight class. It was neither an overnight adaptation nor a training more formidable opposition.
They're going to be their peak of what they are at this point. Because again, Crawford is 38 years old. Canelo will be 35 by then. So I think they're going to be the peak for what they are at their ages. But it's easy to go, well, what have you done for me lately? That's usually how everyone kind of sees everything. So, but I think it's good. I think it makes the fight more enticing. A lot of people are thinking that Crawford can win. Don't get me wrong, Crawford can absolutely win the fight. I'm not saying he can't. But in terms of how I see it, it hasn't really changed my thoughts because I know better than to just trust that last thing I saw because there's a lot of confounding factors.
Conversely, Terence Crawford is a switch hitter who is adept at space, in the middle of the movements, and capable of switching between orthodox and southpaw with ease. Because of his exceptional reach and understanding of ring geometry, he can exploit gaps in both attacking and defensive positioning. Possession of mass, which he may no longer have. He uses dexterity to try to make up for it. During the interview with Roy Jones Jr., it seemed like a man who had actually experienced those sights, rather than an assumption. He wasn't only dismantling abilities. He was alluding to the charming mental toughness, adaptability, and ring smarts required to train a fighter like Canelo. According to Roy, Crawford was no longer a juvenile, untalented opponent, but rather a gentleman with a rightful chance to make his place in boxing history. Every exchange and round is made more exciting by this sense of promise.
Up to the weight. He's been dealing with super middles and light heavyweights in training. You can deal with him in training, you can deal with him in the fight, so the weight should not even be an issue.
Roy wasn't done yet. He changed from being a critic to an inspiration, and he challenged religion as someone who had risen above himself. He portrayed Crawford's legacy as an accumulation of awards and titles rather than as a guy with the courage to take on the most difficult tasks and find a way to prevail. Roy believes that could be the secret to defeating Canelo. And if his stomach is in control, we might be in for a night that cements Crawford's place among the best in the sport's history.
I guess, a lot of times, peer pressure, social media, money, things like that distort the truth sometimes. You understand me? This man been around for the last 20 years, undefeated. You understand me? For the last 20 years, undefeated. If somebody wanted to prove this, that day was right there. Why they didn't fight him? He been undefeated for the last 20 years. Right there. Only 3 divisions, undisputed world champion. Only. You could really put him in the talk for one of the pound for pound, one of the best ever. Because whoever did that before.
The fact that Crawford put on a little weight is one of the most significant conversations. It appears from certain footage and analyzes that the extra muscle somewhat hindered his natural combination speed, which is problematic when up against a strong opponent like Canelo. However, skilled fighters and observers observe that Crawford may be able to force Canelo to make some unintentional mistakes when he controls the middle of the ring, burns down his opponent with clean volume, and maintains the fight at his tempo. A colorful perspective of the matchup was also held by David Benz Sr., who compared it to a game of cat and mouse. He believes that neither combatant is giving it their all and that the battle may be decided by the fighting styles. He thinks Canelo will get over it. Crawford will employ speed, angles, and moves to avoid danger, while he plans to unload heavy and fight finishing punches.
That does be a good bad guy, but a great little guy. I mean, he does be a great small guy, but a great small guy, he's a good big guy. He might be talking about a great small guy. We'll find out after the fight, but we might be talking about, which I think we already are, but I think we're not talking about a good small guy. I think we're talking about a great small guy. You understand me? So, this great small guy, like you talking with me, a great small guy can do anything.
Opinions from fans and commentators have been expressed. Some people are skeptical of Crawford's body transformation's ability to hold up over time when administered in lengthy rounds. Nevertheless, a lot of people appreciate the Mexican's boxing acumen and cherished organization in Canelo. Abel Sanchez, a well-known trainer, created a blueprint for Crawford's performance to supplement the analysis. He maintained that he must become stronger in order to withstand Canelo's pressure in the second half of the bout, and he urged him to be prepared both psychologically and physically. Sanchez recommended examining Canelo's most recent conflicts to pinpoint his weak points that can be taken advantage of. And he believes that strength, tactical intelligence, and the ability to read and respond quickly are the keys to winning.
I think it's going to be a Tom and Jerry fight, at the end of the day, Crawford has not been looking really good. We saw how he looked in his past fight. So Canelo, like I said, the reflexes are not there, this power is not there, the knees are not the same. So Canelo's going to try to knock him out, but Crawford's going to do what he does best. He's going to move around, try to win the rounds, touch him, and move, I think if Crawford stays, Canelo can knock him out, because Canelo's a bigger guy. I don't think Crawford's going to come and get the fans what they want, He don't care, he's just going to come and win.
Voldemort has a strong will and a battle of styles and energy. Canelo thundered against Crawford's chess-like accuracy and flexibility. This isn't your typical combat. It's a test of a person's resilience and ability to remain composed under high-stakes situations. Will Crawford be able to outlast Canelo's raw strength in terms of both skill and endurance? Or does the Mexican superstar get signed by that one big shot? Don't make any predictions. Who will take home the victory? If you're ready for even more insider takes, fight nights, and dissections and analysis. To ensure you don't miss a second of the action, unsubscribe, enable notifications, and click the like button.